Your house might be warmer than ever. Your energy bills might be lower than ever. Your insulation might be doing exactly what it was designed to do. And that could be exactly why your house is quietly rotting. Not because spray foam is defective. It usually isn't. Spray foam is often an excellent product. The problem is what happens to a house when moisture gets in and suddenly has nowhere to go. Because moisture doesn't care how expensive your insulation was. Once it gets trapped in the wood of your home, it only needs one thing: time. This isn't a story about a bad product. It's a story about what happens when we make a house airtight and forget that houses were always supposed to breathe. For hundreds of years, homes survived for a reason most people never think about. They could dry. Old houses were leaky, drafty, and inefficient. Air moved through them constantly, whether you wanted it to or not. Everyone hated the drafts, the cold spots, the high heating bills. But those same drafts were quietly doing something essential. When moisture got into the walls or the roof, and it always does, that constant airflow carried it back out. The wood got wet, then it dried. Wet, then dry. And wood that dries out doesn't rot. The inefficiency everyone complained about was also, accidentally, a drying system. The house was forgiving. It leaked heat, but it also leaked moisture. And that forgiveness is exactly what modern construction engineered away. Over the last few decades, we set out to fix the efficiency, and we succeeded brilliantly. Energy codes tightened, better windows, house wrap, air barriers, high-performance HVAC, and foam insulation that seals every gap. We stopped air from moving through the house. That worked. Homes got warmer, quieter, and far cheaper to heat and cool. By every measure on the energy bill, it was a win. But air movement was not only carrying heat away, sometimes it was carrying moisture away too. And when you stop the air, you stop both. The tighter the house, the less margin it has to recover when water gets in, because the accidental drying system is gone. We optimized hard for one thing, energy, and quietly removed the safety net for another. Here's what makes that trade dangerous. It doesn't take a flood. It takes a trickle and time. A small roof leak. Imperfect window flashing. Everyday humidity. A bathroom fan that vents into the attic instead of outside. Cooking moisture. A minor plumbing drip. Condensation, where warm indoor air meets a cold surface. None of it dramatic. All of it normal. Every house deals with some of this. And here's the key principle of building science. The one thing to remember: wood doesn't rot because it got wet once. Wood rots because it stays wet. A house that can dry shrugs off these small, constant moisture sources. A house that can't dry lets them accumulate, slowly, invisibly, in the one place no one is looking. This is where spray foam enters, and where we have to be precise, because this is exactly where people get it wrong. Spray foam is frequently the right choice, installed correctly in the right assembly. Building scientists have studied it for years, and used properly, it performs. So this is not foam is bad, but foam changes how a building dries. There are two kinds. Closed cell foam is dense and acts as a vapor barrier. It stops moisture from passing through. Open cell foam is lighter and lets some vapor move. Neither is good or bad on its own. What matters is the assembly around it. Consider the classic failure. In a cold climate, a builder sprays open cell foam directly against the underside of the roof deck to create a sealed, unvented attic. It looks like a clean, high-performance job, but open cell foam lets water vapor through, and in winter, warm indoor moisture drifts up, passes into the foam, and reaches the cold roof sheathing on the other side, where it condenses. Now the wood is wet, all winter, with foam pressed against it and no ventilation to carry the moisture away. Building scientists specifically warn against this assembly in cold climates for exactly that reason. Or the other version, spray a sealed, closed-cell foam onto a roof deck that was already damp, or foam over a hidden leak, and you seal that moisture into the wood with no path out in either direction. In each case, the foam did its job. The system had no way to dry. That's the whole documentary in one line. A great product in the wrong assembly becomes a moisture trap. The failure isn't the foam, it's a design that left moisture nowhere to go. The frightening part isn't just that moisture gets trapped, it's that trapped moisture is almost completely silent. Your heating bill looks great, your walls look perfect, your ceiling looks flawless, and meanwhile, the structure holding your roof together may already be changing. Because from inside the house, everything looks perfect. The paint looks fine, the drywall looks fine, the ceiling looks fine. Nothing drips, nothing sags, nothing smells for years. Meanwhile, behind the foam, up against the roof deck or inside the wall, the wood is slowly staying wet. There's no symptom in your living space because the problem is sealed on the other side of the insulation. You cannot see it, and you have no reason to look. Until you do. Until a roofer pulls a section and finds blackened, crumbling sheathing. Until the mold shows up. Until great insulation turns into a roof replacement or structural repair that costs many times what the energy savings ever added up to. The house looked its best right up to the moment it revealed it had been rotting the whole time. Step back, because this was never really about insulation. It's about what happens when we optimize one part of a system without fully accounting for the rest of it. For centuries, houses weren't efficient, but they could dry. Modern construction solved the efficiency problem extraordinarily well. It stopped the air, and stopping the air stopped the heat loss, but it also stopped the moisture from leaving. The efficiency was real. The lower bills were real. But if the water has no path out, the trapped moisture becomes the unmeasured side effect. The cost that never showed up on the energy bill, arriving years later as ROT. That's the pattern this channel keeps finding. The tighter house, the more efficient appliance, the modern engine. It's never one villainous product. It's a system that rewards the one improvement it can measure, the energy number, while quietly overlooking the one it can't, whether the building can still dry. Spray foam didn't forget how to insulate. Water didn't forget how to rot wood. The building simply stopped giving moisture somewhere to go. And once a house loses the ability to dry, every tiny leak stops being an inconvenience and becomes a countdown. The most expensive problems in a home are almost never the ones you can see. They're the ones sealed up perfectly, out of sight, with nowhere left to breathe.